For more than 4 decades, Gary Numan's The Pleasure Principle has stood as a landmark in electronic music. Rather than a track-by-track breakdown, I take a look at the period that led to its creation and explores the moment when Numan moved away from punk, embraced synthesizers, and found himself at the center of a rapidly changing musical landscape. Through luck, conviction, and relentless creativity, The Pleasure Principle emerged as the record that defined this turning point in his early career. Gary Numan was just 19 when he and his band Tubeway Army signed to Beggars Banquet Records. Their first single was called That's Too Bad. By the time he turned 21, Tubeway Army had already scored a #1 hit in Britain with Our Friends Electric. Numan, who was the frontman and the only songwriter, decided to retire the band name and begin a solo career. That decision brought him his own global smash, Cars. Cars became a huge success in America too, reaching #9 on the Billboard Hot 100. His debut solo album, The Pleasure Principle, made the top 20 of the Billboard 200. Although he never became a regular on the US charts, that one single left such a mark that his name still instantly recalls the sound of "Here in my car, I feel safest of all." Gary Numan has always seen himself as lucky rather than special. He believes there are thousands of people who can write great songs, but never had the timing, the chance, or the support he did. For him, every year that goes well is a relief. It means he can keep his children in school, hold on to his home, and maybe take his family on holiday. He never expected success, and he never felt entitled to it. His big break with Our Friends Electric came almost by accident. He had 2 unfinished songs that he couldn't complete. One day, after getting stuck again, he moved from one to the other and suddenly realized they worked as a single piece. That song became a 4-week #1 in Britain. It gained attention on television only because Top of the Pops had introduced a bubbling under slot for tracks outside the top 40. That week it came down to Tubeway Army or Simple Minds. The producer chose Tubeway Army simply because the name sounded more interesting. That one decision gave them the platform that launched Numan's career. Cars was another stroke of luck. Numan had bought a bass guitar, hoping to improve his playing for the studio. Still living with his parents, he brought it home, took it out of its case, and the first 4 notes he played became the foundation of Cars. He wrote the song in half an hour. It was the fastest song he ever finished, and one that still defines him more than 40 years later. He has always said it was luck as much as talent. The shift from Tubeway Army to a solo career came when he discovered synthesizers while recording the band's first album. The label expected punk because that was what they had signed, but Numan became convinced electronic music was the future. He refused to go back. The compromise was that the first album would still come out under the Tubeway Army name. 6 months later, the follow-up arrived with Our Friends Electric, which went straight to #1. That gave Numan the power to continue under his own name. By the time The Pleasure Principle appeared, guitars had been removed completely. It was a bold statement that this was pure electronic music. At the time, he was incredibly prolific. In 12 months, he released 3 albums: the debut Tubeway Army record, Replicas, and The Pleasure Principle. He also released singles with exclusive B-sides and later tracks like We Are Glass and I Die You Die, which never appeared on albums at all. He says it was easy to be productive then. He was young, excited, with no family or financial responsibilities. and all he wanted to do was sit at the piano and write. Back then, every new sound on a synthesizer felt fresh, and it was easy to feel different. The label sometimes tried to slow him down. When he delivered Telecon, they told him they were still promoting the previous album. He insisted it was ready and had to come out. Looking back, he admits he released too much too quickly and undermined their efforts. At the time, though, he was unstoppable. Even while driving home from one tour, he would already be sketching ideas for the next stage show. When The Pleasure Principle was recorded, Cars immediately stood out as the obvious single. Numan has always said he is not naturally good at writing pop music. His instincts favour darker, slower, more menacing songs. Cars was the closest he came to writing something light and accessible, and it worked. In hindsight, he regrets not releasing Metal as a single too. Instead, he followed Cars with a ballad, Complex, which he now sees as a mistake. Over the years, artists such as Trent Reznor and Dave Grohl have covered his songs and spoken of his influence. For Numan, this has meant more than chart positions. Being recognized by musicians he considers geniuses is a validation beyond commercial success. Chart hits, he says, always involve a degree of luck and support from a wider team. Praise from fellow songwriters carries no such conditions, and for him it has been the highest form of recognition. His introduction to America was sudden and dramatic. He arrived in New York unknown, then within a week appeared on The Merv Griffin Show and Saturday Night Live, hosted by Elliot Gould. He remembers how kind and respectful everyone was, even though he felt nervous and undeserving. That one television appearance changed everything. Overnight, he went from complete obscurity to instant recognition. There were awkward moments too. He hated recording radio station identifications. His shy, reserved manner made him sound miserable, and he worried that people thought he was being difficult. Hearing Cars on American radio between Rush and Foreigner also made him nervous. He thought it sounded strange and out of place, but to his relief, the public embraced it. The single became his defining US hit. In Britain, he went on to enjoy more than a dozen top 20 singles. But in America, Cars remained his only big success. Despite that, he has never given up hope of another. He stays optimistic, believing each new record could deliver a second breakthrough. He is surprised at the credibility he has earned in the United States with only one major single, and he is grateful for the respect he continues to receive. Yet he still feels there is time. As long as he is alive and making music, another big hit could happen. That possibility, he says, is what keeps music eternally exciting.